spoken in a hushed, slightly tense tone. Have you ever had that feeling? That prickly sensation on the back of your neck that tells you you're not alone, even when you should be. Most of us dismiss it. We tell ourselves it's just the house settling, or a draft, or our imagination running wild after a late-night movie. But what if it's not? What if that feeling is a warning? My story begins in a place many of us know well, a childhood bedroom. It was my sanctuary, filled with posters of my favorite bands and stacks of comic books. Everything about it felt safe, except for one thing, the closet. It was a standard walk-in closet, but from the day we moved in, it felt off. The door never seemed to stay completely shut, always creeping open just a crack. And sometimes, late at night, I'd hear things. A soft scratching, like fingernails on wood. A faint, almost inaudible rustle, like fabric being gently disturbed. My parents, of course, had all the logical explanations. It's the pipes in the walls, they'd say. It's the wind rattling the house. I tried to believe them. I really did. But the feeling of being watched never went away. It was strongest when I was in bed, with the lights off, staring into the darkness of my room. My eyes would inevitably drift to that sliver of blackness behind the closet door. It felt like a void, an abyss that stared right back at me. One night, the scratching was louder than usual. It wasn't just a faint sound. It was deliberate, rhythmic. Scratch, pause, scratch, pause. It sounded like something was trying to get my attention. My heart was pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. I pulled the covers up to my chin, my knuckles white as I clutched the blanket. I squeezed my eyes shut, praying for it to stop, for morning to come. But it didn't stop. It got closer. The sound wasn't just coming from the closet anymore. It was coming from the door itself. I dared to open my eyes just a slit. The moonlight streaming through my window cast long, distorted shadows across the room. The closet door, which I was certain I had pushed firmly shut before bed, was now open wider than ever before. It was a dark, gaping mouth, and in that darkness I saw it. It wasn't clear at first, just a shape, a silhouette that was darker than the surrounding shadows. It was tall and unnaturally thin, its limbs long and jointed like a spider's legs. It wasn't moving, just standing there in the opening, observing me. I couldn't breathe. I was completely frozen, trapped between the instinct to scream and the paralyzing fear that any sound would make it pounce. I could feel its gaze on me, an intense, ancient sort of attention that made my skin crawl. The air in the room grew cold, so cold that I could see my own breath fogging in front of my face. The silence was deafening, broken only by the frantic thumping of my own heart. I don't know how long we stayed like that, locked in a terrifying standoff. It felt like an eternity. Then, very slowly, one of its long, spindly arms began to emerge from the darkness of the closet. It extended towards my bed, its fingers, or what I assumed were fingers, long and sharp like talons. They didn't move quickly. They stretched out with a slow, deliberate grace that was somehow more terrifying than a sudden lunge. It was as if it was savoring the moment, enjoying the absolute terror it was inflicting on me. The hand crept closer and closer over the foot of my bed. I could almost make out the texture of its skin in the dim light. It looked pale, dry, and stretched taut over bone. I finally found my voice. It wasn't a brave shout or a defiant yell. It was a pathetic, choked sob. The sound seemed to break the spell. The hand froze mid-air, then retracted back into the closet with a speed that was utterly jarring. The silhouette lingered for a second more, and I swear I saw its head tilt, as if curious about the sound I'd made. And then it was gone. It didn't step back. It just sort of dissolved into the deeper shadows within the closet, leaving me alone in the sudden, ringing silence. The closet door slowly swung shut with a soft click, plunging the room back into its normal state of darkness. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I just lay there, shaking, staring at the closet door until the first rays of sunlight broke through my window, chasing the shadows away. The next morning, I told my parents everything. They checked the closet, of course. They found nothing, just my clothes, my old toys, and a thick layer of dust in the back corners. They tried to reassure me it was a nightmare, a very vivid one, but a nightmare nonetheless. I knew better. I knew what I saw. For the rest of the time we lived in that house, I never slept in that room again. I slept on the couch, in my parents' room, anywhere but there. The closet door remained shut, and I made sure it was always blocked by a heavy dresser. We moved out about a year later. I never told the new family about what lived in that closet. Sometimes I feel guilty about that. But what would I have said? How do you warn someone about a monster that might not even be real to anyone but you? To this day, I can't sleep with a closet door open. Every creak in the night sends a jolt of that old fear through me. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? We fill our closets with old clothes and forgotten things. But what else might be hiding in the dark, just waiting for us to fall asleep? What monsters are living right there in the quiet corners of our own homes? So, what do you think? Was it just a child's overactive imagination, or something more? Let me know your own creepy closet stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoy this story and want to hear more tales from the shadows, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Thanks for listening. And until next time, sleep well, and maybe keep a light on.